Thank you for joining in for our teachings of Queen Kunti study. Let us start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओम तत्सत्. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for joining in for our teachings of Queen Kunti session. So as soon as the session is over, within 10 minutes, we will join in the same Zoom ID for our Ekadashi day 2 prayers. So it will be the same as what we did yesterday with the various Ashtakams and Bhagavad Gita one chapter and Bhagavatam, Gajendra Stuti and Gopi Geet. So this is the plan. So let's quickly continue from where we left. So what were we seeing? We were seeing that the teachings of Queen Kunti, that Kunti Maharani is actually expressing her prayers. Right? First and foremost, she's talking about all those instances when Lord Krishna has helped the Pandavas, her relatives, right? And also all of those various instances when the Lord personally interfered to protect the Pandavas. So when we are remembering all those instances when the Lord protected us, then what happens? Our affection for the Lord increases. Right? I was hearing His Grace Raj Bihari Prabhu's class. He was talking about how love is very, very deep and love involves a lot of sacrifice. Right? But even if you are not able to feel love, you can definitely feel affection. Affection means just expressing our appreciation, feeling joyful and being together, right? So although the very deep love is not there in the heart, at least for starters we can start with affection, right? Of course it is very very it's very very easy to develop affection for devotees because devotees are always helpful, devotees always care for us, so it's very easy to develop an affection for the devotees. So when we become closer in our relationship, then love is a natural consequence. So like that, we've forgotten our eternal love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we can develop our affection. Easy to develop affection for the Supreme Lord when we express gratitude to the Lord for the various gifts that the Lord has given us, even without asking, right? So when we express gratitude to the Lord, when we express our affection to the Lord, then in the morning also we're discussing in the Brahma Murta program, Param Drishtva Nivartate. When we develop a higher taste of wanting to do everything for the pleasure of the Lord, because of our affection for the Supreme Lord, then automatically love or Krishna Prema will be the natural consequence. All right. So let's quickly go on to what we were studying yesterday. Atato Brahma Jignasa. So a devotee or a person who is intelligent wants to know, why am I put into this particular body? Why am I suffering? How do I get out of this? So that inquisitiveness gives the Sambandha Gyan. And then we engage in the process of devotional service, which is Abhideya. And then the Prayojana, which is Krishna Prema, will manifest in our heart. So that is the procedure. So let's continue reading. The human form of life is meant for understanding the Supreme, the absolute truth. Atato Brahma Jignasa. But if we do not endeavor for this, if we misuse this opportunity and simply remain like animals, then we shall return to an animal form of life. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to save the people from going down to animal life. The appearance of Lord Krishna is compared to the growth of sandalwood trees in the Malaya hills. Malayasyeva Chandanam. There are two Malayas, the Malaya hills and the part of the world now known as Malaysia. The chandana tree or the sandalwood tree can grow anywhere. There is no rule that it has to grow in Malaysia or in the Malaya Hills. But because this sandalwood grows in large quantities in those parts of the world, it is known as Malaya Chandana. In the Western countries, there is scented water known as UD cologne. It can be manufactured anywhere, but because it was originally manufactured in the city of Cologne, it is known as UD cologne. Similarly, sandalwood can grow anywhere, but because it was originally very prominent in Malaysia and the Malaya Hills, it is known as Malayan sandalwood. Kunti offered this prayer 5,000 years ago, and this indicates that sandalwood was growing 5,000 years ago in Malaysia. Malaysia is not a new name. It was known thousands and thousands of years ago to the followers of the Vedic culture. Now, of course, Malaysia is growing rubber trees because there is a good demand for rubber. But formerly, Malaysia grew sandalwood on a large scale because there was a great demand for sandalwood, especially in India. So what is mentioned here? It is mentioned here that the Lord, by his causeless mercy, arranges for certain things. The Lord is born in Yadukula, right? Because he wants to give the credit to the Yadukula, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead chose to appear in this Yadukula. Right? Similarly, any country, any part of the world can grow sandalwood, but Krishna desired that sandalwood grows in Malaysia, right? Because Malaysia also gets its fame, and also sandalwood also gets its fame. So similarly, Krishna is also glorified when Krishna is the Yadukula Tilaka, like that we sing, we glorify the Lord. Yadukula Tilaka. That means Yadukula is also glorified because of Krishna's association. And Krishna is also glorified as Yadukula Tilaka, right? The best of the Yadukula Vasis, right? So in this way, whatever Krishna arranges, if Krishna wants to appreciate or Krishna wants to give credit, then who can take it away, right? I mean, Madhavendra Puri past time also we saw. Madhavendra Puri did not want any credit, but Krishna wanted to give credit to Madhavendra Puri, and his glory reached Jagannath Puri even before Madhavendra Puri reached. Right? So if Krishna wants to protect someone, nobody can kill him. If Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can protect him. And if Krishna wants to kill, killing is the best welfare activity that can happen to that particular individual. Because Krishna is Suhridam Sarvabhuta. He's a welfare, he's a well-wisher of all the living entities. So whatever is happening for in our life, whether it is happy situations or it is distressful situations, everything is happening for our good. Everything is happening for our ultimate welfare. Why? Because Krishna is allowing that to happen in our life. So there is no need to complain. There is always a need to feel gratitude for everything in our life, right? Because if things are not going to our plan, things are getting orchestrated by the supreme plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who knows the past, present, and future, right? Who knows the entire complete big picture like that. All right. All right, let's continue. Shobha Mataji and then Deval Mataji and Sarva Gopishwari Mataji. Yes, go ahead. Because India is a tropical
Hare
country.
Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Right.
that is Pranamataji and Pratish. Because India is a tropical country and sandalwood is very cooling, people in India use sandalwood pulp as a cosmetic. Even
Cannot hear. Mataji. Mataji, please unmute.
Hare Krishna, because India is a tropical country and sandalwood is very cooling, people in India use sandalwood pulp as a cosmetic. Even now, during the very warm days of the summer season, those who can afford to do so apply sandalwood pulp to their bodies and feel cool all day. In India, it was a system that after bathing and sanctifying the body by applying marks of tilak, one would offer obeisances to the deity, take some chandana prasada from the room of the deity, and apply it as a cosmetic to the body. This was called prasadana. But it is said that in Kali Yuga, the present age, snanam eva prasadhanam, Bhagavatam reference 12.2.5. If one can even bathe nicely, that is prasadana. In India, even the poorest man will take an early morning bath every day. But when I came to America, I saw that even taking one's daily bath may be a difficult thing and is often not the practice. In India, we are accustomed to see people bathe thrice in a week, but in New York, I have seen that
Thrice
one
in
may
a day.
have to go to
Not thrice
in
a
a
week.
day,
Thrice in a day.
thrice in a day. But in New York, I have seen that one may have to go to a friend's house to bathe because one may not have facility to do so at home. These are symptoms of Kali Yuga. Snanam eva prasadanam. In the Kali Yuga, it will be very difficult even to take a bath. Another symptom of Kali Yuga is Daksyam Kutumbha Bharanam. Bhagavatam reference 12.2.7. One will be famous for his pious activities simply if he can maintain his body. The word Daksyam, meaning famous for pious activities, comes from Daksha, which means expert. In Kali Yuga, one will be considered expert if he can maintain a family consisting of himself, his wife, and one or two children. In India, of course, the traditional family is a joint family consisting of a man and his wife, their parents and children, their in laws, and so on. But in Kali Yuga, it will be difficult to maintain a simple family of oneself, one's wife, and a few children. When I was living in New York, among the people coming to our classes was an old lady who had a grown son. I asked her, why does not your son get married? She replied, yes, he can marry when he can maintain a family. I did not know that maintaining a family was such a difficult job there. But this is described in the Bhagavatam. If one can maintain a family, he will be considered a very glorious man. And if a girl has a husband, he she will be considered very fortunate. It is not our business to criticize, but the symptoms of Kali Yuga are very severe and they will grow more severe. The duration of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years ago, and although 5,000 years of it have passed, already we find so many difficulties, and the more we grow into this Kali Yuga, the more the times will be difficult. The best course, therefore, is to complete our Krishna consciousness and return home back to Godhead. That will save us. Otherwise, if you come back again for another life in Kali Yuga, we shall find difficult days ahead and we shall have to suffer more and more.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Bol. Yeah. So we see here, Prabhupada is talking about Kaler Doshe Nidhe Rajan, right? Kaliyuga is full of faults. Prayana Alpayusha Sabya Kalavasmi Nuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrataha. So we've also seen so many times, we see that as Kaliyuga is progressing, more and more problems are coming, whether it is famine or flood or fire or fight or whatever, right? Because there is so much exploitation of the of mother nature, that all of these things become so prominent. Like he had this COVID time where, almost close to 2 years people are not allowed to go out. And I was reading that the outside, the air was becoming very very pure, because there was no vehicles polluting the air with the petrol smell and other things, right? So in this way, when jivas, or when human beings exploit material nature in such a way, that material nature also is not able to bear the atrocities or the trouble that is caused. So in that way also, in Kali Yuga, the more the people want to enjoy sense gratification, right? Because manda sumanda matyo, we are lazy, we are misguided, we don't know what to do, what not to do, right? So in this way, when we are engaged in all of these materialistic activities, then the age is, as Kali Yuga progresses, it is going to become worse and more worse and most worse. Yeah. So what is the only solution to all these problems? Only solution to these problems is to take up to the path of Krishna consciousness, knowing well that Kali Yuga is going to get worse and worse and worse, and we are going to be affected by the environment that we stay in. So what is the way? We take up the process of Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the method that is prescribed here. Okay. Let's move on to chapter number 16, returning to our natural consciousness. Deval Mataji, go ahead. Please read.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितोऽभ्यगात् अजस्त्वमस्य क्षेमाय वधाय च सुराद्विषाम्. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.33. It is also said that Vasudeva and Devaki, in the previous birth as Sutapa and Prishni, underwent a severe type of penance to get the Lord as their son. And as a result of such austerities, the Lord appeared as their son. It is already declared in the Bhagavad Gita that Lord appears for the welfare of all people in the world and to vanquish the asuras or the materialistic atheists. The Lord says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Bhagavad Gita 4.7. The words dharmasya glanihi mean irregularities in religion. When there are irregularities, religion becomes polluted. In human society, there must be a proper balance between spirit and matter. We are actually spirit soul, but somehow or other, we have been encaged within material bodies. And as long as we have these bodies, we have to accept the bodily necessities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Although the soul itself does not need these things. The soul does not need to eat anything. Whatever we eat is for the upkeep of the body. But a civilization that simply looks after these bodily necessities and does not care for the necessities of the soul is a foolish, unbalanced civilization. Suppose one merely washes one's coat but does not take care of one's body, or suppose one has a bird in a cage but merely takes care of the cage, not the bird within it. This is foolishness. The bird is crying, "Ka ka, give me food, give me food." If one only takes care of the cage, how can the bird be happy? So why are we unhappy? In the Western countries, there is no scarcity of wealth, or no scarcity of food, no scarcity of cars, and no scarcity of sex. Everything is available in full abundance. Then why is there still a section of people who are frustrated and confused like the hippies? They are not satisfied. Why? Because there is no balance. We are taking care of the necessities of the body, but we have no information of the soul and its necessities. The soul is the real substance, and the body is only a covering. Therefore, neglect of the soul is a form of dharmasya glanihi, pollution of duty. The word dharma means duty. Although the word dharma is often translated as religion, and religion is generally defined as a kind of faith, dharma is not, in fact, a kind of faith. Dharma means one's actual constitutional duty. It is one's duty to know the needs of the soul. But unfortunately, we have no information of the soul and are simply busy supplying the necessities for bodily comfort. Bodily comfort, however, is not enough. Suppose a man is very comfortably situated. Does it mean he will not die? Of course not. We speak of a struggle for existence and survival of the fittest, but bodily comforts alone cannot enable anyone to exist or survive permanently. Therefore, taking care of the body only is called dharmasya glanihi, or pollution of one's duty. One must know the necessities of the body and also the necessities of the soul. The real necessity in life is to supply the comforts of the soul, and the soul cannot be comforted by material adjustments. Because the soul is a different identity, the soul must be given spiritual food, and that spiritual food is Krishna consciousness. When one is diseased, he must be given the proper diet and the proper medicine. Both are required. If he is simply given medicine but not a proper diet, the treatment will not be very successful. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is meant to give both the proper medicine and the proper diet for the soul. The diet is Krishna Prasada, food that has been first offered to Krishna, and the medicine is a Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Nivritta tasreir upagiyamanad bhau sadach. Yes, Margaret.
कौत्तमश्लोकगुणानुवादात् पुमान् विरज्येत विना पशुघ्नात्.
Thank you, Mataji. Bhagavatam, 10th canto, first chapter, first chapter, fourth text. Parikshit Maharaj said to the great sage Shukadeva Goswami, "The discourses on Srimad Bhagavatam that you are giving me are not ordinary. These Bhagavata discourses are relishable for persons who are Nivritta Trishna, free from hankering. Everyone in this material world is hankering for enjoyment, but one who is free from hankering can taste how relishable the Bhagavatam is. The word Bhagavata refers to anything in the relationship to Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also Bhagavata. Thus, Parikshit Maharaj said that the taste of the Bhagavata can be relished by one who is free from hankering to satisfy material desires. And why should this Bhagavata be tasted? Bhavau Sadhi, Shadi. It is a medicine. Bhava Aushadhi. Thank you, Mother. Yes, Bhava Aushadhi is a medicine for our disease of birth and death. At the present moment, we are in a diseased condition. Materialists do not know what is disease and what is health. They do not know anything. but still they are posing as great scientists and philosophers. They do not inquire, I do not want to die. Why is death enforced upon me? Nor do they have any solution to this problem. But still, they call themselves scientists. What kind of scientists are they? Advancement in science should bring about knowledge by which misery can be minimized. Otherwise, what is the meaning of science? Scientists may promise that they can help us in the future, but we may ask them, what are you giving us right now, sir? A real scientist will not say, just go on suffering as you are suffering now, and in the future we shall find some chemicals to help you. No. Atyantika dukkha nivritti. The word atyantika means ultimate and dukkha means sufferings. The aim of human life should be to put an end to the ultimate sufferings, but people do not even know what these ultimate sufferings are. These sufferings are pointed out in Bhagavad Gita as Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease. What have we done to nullify these sufferings? There is no remedy for them in the material world. The ultimate way to relinquish all kinds of sufferings is stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, where the Lord says, Mamupitya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha sausiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to the temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Thus, the
Right.
Lord says that one. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Dhanvatana.
So here, what is that? Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. So these dukkha, which are not the dukkha that is caused because of some kind of fever or some kind of not getting something what we want to eat today, or following Ekadashi, or getting stuck in a traffic jam, right? They all seem so much of insurmountable problems for us, but those are not real problems, because when our body itself is so temporary and is going to stay for a while, right? Then how much, when we are so insignificant, right? When we see that we are staying in a small place called Pune, which is just not even one of the state. It's within a small state called Maharashtra. That Maharashtra is a small state in a big country like India, and India itself is a small country in so many countries, right? And so many countries are there in one continent. And in that one continent, there are, and the continent is part of the country, and so many, continent is part of the world, and this world itself is a part of the universe. This is just one world. And then Brahmande Brahmite Gona, and then there are so many universes. So when we understand how insignificant we are, then how significant can our problems be? When I myself am insignificant, my problem has to be a subset of myself. It cannot be a superset, right? So when I know that I am so insignificant, how can my problems become significant? It is only when we don't understand our real position as being the servant of the Lord, then I think that I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. I should enjoy everything. Whatever I survey and see, it should be mine. Then what happens? That is not the truth. That is, we are living in a world of illusion. We are living in madness. When we are living in madness, then we have to be admitted in the hospital for a treatment of madness. And then we are given what is called, this material world itself is for mad people, right? Who think that I am the controller and I am the enjoyer. And hence we are properly treated in this material world, which is like a hospital. And Prabhupada says both diet and medicine needs to be given. Aushadhi. Enichi aushadhi maya nasibaro lagi. Se hari nama mantra lao tumi magi. Enichi aushadhi maya. Right? This is the aushadhi. This is the medicine for our disease of wanting to exploit material nature, not understanding that we are simply visitors here, right? We want to resolve the conflicts in our mind and body. We want to understand our constitutional position, and we want to go back home, back to Godhead. But what are we doing? Like, for example, you're going on a holiday to yesterday talking about going to Kodaikanal, right? Going to Kodaikanal, I don't want to change the sofa setting there, or the paint color there, or the way the furniture is arranged there. Why? Because I know I'm going to be there for 5 days. I just tolerate, and then I fulfill my purpose of maybe visiting 2-3 places, or going to some park or whatever. Have some change of time, and then what is it? I'm going to come back to my home. So like that, our eternal home is the Supreme Personality of Godhead's Dham, Goloka Vrindavana Dham, right? Naptuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim paramam gataha. So we want to attain the highest perfection, and for that we need to follow certain yama niyama, rules and regulations. We need to follow some diet, that I should eat this, I should not eat this, I should take this medicine regularly, right? I should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum 16 rounds every day. And then I should eat only Krishna Prasadam. I should engage in the process of Abhideya, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. And that has to be done with your love and devotion. Understanding that the Lord is my best friend, the Lord is my Suhrada, the Lord is my best friend and my eternal well-wisher. So when we understand this position, then we are doing justice to having got this human form of life. Otherwise, we will be equal to two-legged animals, having the consciousness of animals, but simply looking like a human being like that. Okay, let's continue. Sarva Gopeshwari Mataji, go ahead. Thus the Lord says that one should approach him and go back home, back to Godhead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat
The
Pranam.
Lord says that one should approach him and go back to him, back home, back to Godhead. But unfortunately, people have no knowledge of what God is, whether one can go back home to him or not, whether or not it is practical, because they have no knowledge. They are simply like animals. They pray, oh God, give us our daily bread. But now, suppose we ask them, what is God? Can they explain? No. Then, whom are they asking? Are they merely praying into the air? If I submit some petition, there must be some person to whom the petition is submitted. But they do not know who that person is or where the petition is to be submitted. They say that God is in the sky, but there are also so many birds in the sky. Mataji, scrolling. Scrolling, Mataji. Okay, thanks, Mataji. Are they God? People have imperfect knowledge or no knowledge at all. Nonetheless, they pose as a scientists, philosophers, writers, and great thinkers. Although their ideas are all rubbish, the only truly worthwhile books are those like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam 1.5 on 10 to 11, it is said, Nayat Pachaschitra Padam Hare Yasho Jadat Pavitram Pragnita Sarhit Tadvayasam Tirtam Puchanti Manasa. Mataji, it's scrolling little bit. Oh, thanks, Mataji. Nayatra Hamsa Niramanti Usikta Chayaha. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Tatva Visargo Janatago Viplavo Yasmin Prati Slokam Abadvati Api Namani Anantasya Yasho Nikita Taniyat Srinvanti Gayanti Grananti Sadhavaha. On the other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Any literature that has no connection with God is just like a place where crows take enjoyment. Where do crows enjoy? In a filthy place. But while swans take pleasure in a nice clear water surrounded by gardens. So even among animals, there are natural divisions. The crows will not go to the swan, and the swans will not go to the crows. Similarly, in human society, there are men who are like crows and men who are like swans. The swan-like men who will come to the centers of the Krishna consciousness, where everything is clear, where there is a good philosophy, good transcendental food, good education, good intelligence, everything good. Whereas crow-like men will go to the clubs, parties, naked dance shows, and so many other things. So the Krishna consciousness movement is meant for swan-like men, not for men who are like crows. But we can convert crows into the swans. We can convert but we can convert the crows into swans. That is our philosophy. Those who were crows are now swimming like swans. That is the benefit of Krishna consciousness. The material world is the world where swans have become crows. In the material world, the living entity is engaged in the material body and he tries to gratify his senses and one body after another. But the re-establishment of Dharma will gradually turn crows into swans. For example, a man may be illiterate and uncultured, but he can be converted into an educated, cultured man by training. This training is possible in the human form of life. I cannot train a dog to become a devotee. That is difficult. Of course, that also can be done, although I may not be powerful enough to do it. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling through the jungles of Jharkhand, the tiger, the snakes, the deer, and all other animals became devotees. This was possible for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he is God himself and can therefore do anything. But although we cannot do that, we can work in human society. Regardless of how fallen a man is, if he follows the instructions of Krishna consciousness, he can return to his original position. Of course, there are degrees of understanding, but one's original position is that one is part and parcel of God. Understanding all of this position is called Brahman realization, spiritual realization. And it is this realization that Krishna himself comes to this world to re-establish. Lord Krishna came to this world at the request of his devotees Vasudeva and Devaki. Vasudevasya Devakyam Yachito Abhyagat. Although in their former lives Vasudeva and Devaki were married, they did not have any children. They engaged themselves in severe austerities, and when Krishna came before them and asked them what they wanted, they said, "We want a son like you. That is our desire." But how is it possible for there be another God? Krishna is God, and God is one. He cannot be two. So how could there be another God to become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki? Krishna therefore says, "It is not possible to find another God, so I myself shall become your son." So some people say that it is because Vasudeva and Devaki wanted Krishna as their son, he appeared. Although Krishna actually comes to satisfy his devotees like Vasudeva and Devaki, when he comes, he performs other activities also. Vadaya cha Suradvisham. The word Vadaya means killing, and Suradvisham refers to the demons, who were always envious of the devotees. Krishna comes to kill all these demons. An example of a demon is Hiranyakashipu. Because Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee, his father Hiranyakashipu was so envious that he was prepared to kill his own son, although the little boy only fault was that he was chanting Hare Krishna. This is the nature of demons. Jesus Christ also was killed by a Suradvishan, those who were envious of him. What was his fault? His only fault was that he was preaching about God. Yet he had so many enemies who cruelly crucified him. Therefore, Krishna comes to kill such a Sura Dvisha. The killing of the envious, of course, can be done without the presence of Krishna, but by setting to work the natural forces of war, pestilence, famine, and so on, Krishna can kill millions of people. He does not need to come here to kill these rascals, for they can be killed simply by his directions or nature's law. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Oh, sorry, Mataji. I was on mute. Sorry. So, thank you, Mataji. So here,
The screen was...
yes,
the screen was
Mataji. We'll discuss this a little bit.
Okay.
And then Navkishori Mataji can read the last section.
Okay.
We have about 5
Hare
minutes
Krishna.
more for
Thank you,
the
Mataji.
meeting also. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, quickly here, Prabhupada is talking about how, great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Jesus Christ, etc., they are all killed by Surat Dvisham, right? Those who are envious. And such envy will ensure that we are always in this material world, right? So the one thing, right, I was hearing Amarendra Prabhu's class a very long time back. was mentioning envy. If we have envy, the quality of envy, then we will be shown no vacancy board in the spiritual world, because everything else can be transformed, but this quality of enviousness cannot be transformed, or it cannot be dovetailed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like for example, if you are very greedy, we can be greedy to hear Krishna Katha, right? If we get very angry, right, like Hanumanji showed his anger in destroying Lanka, so we can show our anger in a place where devotees are blasphemed or the Lord is blasphemed. We can show our anger there. But envy, that means a quality of jealousy, which is so much that we want to cause trouble to others, that can never be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Now, Kishori Mataji, go ahead. We have about 4 minutes only. Let's see how much we can do.
Hare Krishna
Otherwise,
Mataji.
once again, Mataji. Otherwise, when we join for the next session, that time we will continue and complete this chapter. So that tomorrow we will do Thursday, Friday, we will do Chaitanya Charitamrita tomorrow, right? So that we will do. Yes, Mataji, quickly go ahead. This killing of the envious. No, he does not
Sure,
need to come
Mataji.
here from there.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
The killing of envious, of course, can be done without the presence of Krishna by setting to work the natural forces of war, pestilence, famine, and so on. Krishna can kill millions of people. He does not need to come here to kill those rascals, for they can be killed simply by his directions or
Where are you
nature's
reading,
law.
Mataji?
Sorry?
Okay, let me read, Mataji. We quickly need to read and complete this. There are about 3 minutes only, so let me read it. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shakti, Rekha, Brahma Samhita 5.44. Nature has so much power that it can create, maintain, annihilate everything. Srishti means creation, Sthiti means maintenance, and Pralaya means destruction. Nature can create, maintain, and also destroy. This material cosmic manifestation is being maintained by the mercy of nature, by which we are getting sunlight, air, and rain, by which to grow our food, so that we can eat and grow nicely. But nature is so powerful that at any time it can destroy everything simply by one strong wind. Nature is working under the direction of Krishna. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate characharam. Therefore, if Krishna wants demons killed, he can kill millions of them with merely one strong blast of nature's wind. So to kill the demons, Krishna does not need to come. When he comes, he does so because he is requested by his devotees like Vasudeva and Devaki. As Kunti Devi indicates, we're using the word yachitaha, meaning being prayed for. Therefore, the real cause of his coming is that the request of his devotees. But when he comes, he simultaneously shows that it's prepared to kill anyone who is envious of his devotees. Of course, his killing and maintaining are the same because he is absolute. Those who are killed by Krishna immediately attain salvation, which generally takes millions of years to get. So people may say that Krishna has come for this purpose or that purpose, but actually Krishna comes for the benefit of his devotees. He always looks after the welfare of the devotees. And so from this instruction of Kunti, you should understand we should always be concerned with how to become devotees. Then all good qualities will come upon us. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunes satra samasate sura. If one develops Krishna consciousness, one will develop all the good qualities. Our devotion to Krishna is natural. Just as the son has natural devotion to the father and mother, we have natural devotion to Krishna. When there is danger, even materialistic scientists pray to God. Of course, when they are not in danger, they defy God, and therefore danger is required in order to teach these rascals that there is God. Jivera Swarupohe Krishnera Nityadas. Our natural position is to be dependent on God. Actually, artificially, we are trying to banish God, saying God is dead. There is no God, or I am God. But if we give up this rascaldom, Krishna will give us all protection. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yetamam prapadyante ramsateva bachamiham. The more we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the more we will feel protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in all circumstances, whether of happiness or of distress. Grantaraj teachings of Queen Kunti ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll meet exactly at 12 o'clock. Oh, it's 12. In 10 minutes we will meet. And we will continue with our Kartik Day 2 prayers. So please do join us. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai ho, teachings of Queen Kunti ki jai ho, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, devotees. We'll meet in 10 minutes on the same Zoom ID. Like yesterday, Mataji was asking, it's a different ID or what? So in same Zoom ID in about 10 minutes. And we will continue with our day 2 Kartik month prayers with the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatharubhyascha. Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam